Hi, in this video I'm going to be going over footprints and how to avoid leaving them for a trial for Google so that you don't get any of your sites, especially your PBNs, de-indexed. It can be quite costly. Obviously, it costs money to set up a PBN and get yourself some rankings, but there's some real fatal errors that you can make when setting up a PBN. Obviously, we don't want Google to spot that we're trying to rank our own websites. Google does give you lots and lots of advice about SEO. However, Google's not the right person to ask about SEO because they don't actually want you to rank anything. What they really want is to sell you their advertising. But they do want to rank the most relevant stuff. And as long as you're following this course exactly as you want, you're kind of going to be helping Google. But if they do spot that you're buying names in your name and ranking your own sites for that purpose, then they will de-index you. And they can be quite severe. If you're just doing a few sites, generally you've got nothing to worry about whatsoever, but you might as well learn best practices going for the long term. So I'm just going to go over the footprints that you can avoid, some of the major ones, at least anyway, in this video. So for a PBN, for when you're setting up a PBN, when you register the domain, there's a couple of options that you can do. You can use a fake name generator. If it's a .com, you can use a fake name generator. Just for those of you guys who are watching in the UK, you cannot use a fake name generator for a UK domain, for .co.uk, because they require evidence of who you are when you register the domain. I've come unstuck with this and I've lost a lot of domains. So, but for .com, it's fine. There's a fake name generator. You can just put that in Google and it will come up, and it will just come up with a name and address and all the rest of it. That's absolutely fine. You can use that. The other option, and this is one that I'd recommend, obviously, because that's, you know, I'm not giving you advice. I'm not actually going to tell you what to do when it comes to fraud. So that's fraud. So be careful there if you're going to do that. But the other way is to use Whois privacy, and that's absolutely fine. You have a right to your private information, so you can actually, when you register any domain with any domain registrar, which I'll include links to places you can purchase domains, obviously, on the course. But when you link with any domain registrar, you have the option to make your information private. And what it will do is it will show the actual registrar as the company you bought the domain from. So I won't go over how you do that. It will be fairly simple, and it's different with each registrar, but there's always an option. Now, one that I recommend is Namecheap, and the reason why I would recommend Namecheap is because you can actually make your privacy free for a whole year. With the others, you can pay anything from sort of like $10 to $15 for that extra service. So a little bit of a saving, especially when you're starting out. Next, I mean, basically that's just what I was explaining. So the free Whois price, when was Namecheap, but expect to pay 10 or 15 bucks with other registrars. Do not use Google software on any PBN. So any of your private blog network. Obviously, it's absolutely fine on your money sites. You obviously want analytics. You want to see where all your traffic's coming from. You might want to use Google Webmaster Tools. I'm not actually covering Google Analytics and Webmaster Tools in this course, but I will be on an advanced course. So but those are really good tools to use on your money sites, but you do not use them on your private blog networks, because obviously that again can cause a footprint, especially if they can link you. The likelihood is as well, if you have different Google accounts, even if you've got different Gmails, Google sometimes asks for a phone number. They kind of link each one together, so there's kind of a way of them finding out. Best practice is don't use them on your private blog networks. There's ways to see how your private blog network is ranking, and if there's any penalties, without actually needing any of this. You don't really need to see the traffic. You just need to see that it's ranking and sending the power to your site. So that's fine. Another really good advice is to hide your backlinks, because obviously if somebody goes, if a competitor is doing research on your money site and they see all your backlinks and they look at them and they notice that they're all a blog network, they can actually report you to Google, and this has happened in the past. If you hide your backlinks only on your PBNs. You do not need to hide your backlinks on your money site. If you hide your backlinks on your PBNs, then they will not be spotted. There is a sort of drawback to that, because if you hide your backlinks on your PBNs, it's really hard to see which PBNs are ranking your money sites, because the trust flow and the citation flow won't be the majestic metrics of the trust flow and citation flow won't be accurate on your money site, because you'll be hiding your backlinks, you see. So it's really, it kind of, it gives you a little bit of a, it makes it slightly trickier. But again, if you're spreading your PBNs out, if you're sort of doing one a week or one every other week, and you can sort of see how the rankings are going as you build them, then this shouldn't be too much of a problem. Another thing you can do is, obviously, when you've got, you can always hide your backlinks a bit later when you've seen what sort of power it gives you. But again, to avoid footprints with Google, I would always advise hiding your backlinks. There are some free tools out there to do this. Bot Nemesis is one of them, and the chap who supplies that is Gregory Ortiz, and you can Google him and get that. Yeah, and find that. That's a free plugin. You may even be able to get it just by looking from plugins from WordPress. I'm not sure. I actually got it externally, I think. But yeah, you can find that, and if not, there's other ones that you can do which will actually hide your backlinks on your PBNs. And I'm going to go into a little bit more detail about this, but you do not use more than one PBN per money site per host. I mean, obviously, you can use each host, you can put loads of PBNs on each host, but the way to sort of set it out is sort of like this. Okay, so maybe have one host for your money sites. I mean, obviously, depending on how much traffic you're going to get, 5, 10, sometimes 20 is fine. But if you're getting 2 or 3,000 hits a day per money site, then you're not going to be using the cheaper hosting options. You're going to have to get dedicated hosting. But as a starting mark, I would put all your money sites into one host and just keep them in there to start with. You can always move them around later, but this kind of gives you an idea of how to lay it out. In your second host, so say host A might, for instance, be Bluehost. I'll put a link below. Host B might be HostGator. Now you want to be careful, obviously. I mean, what I would do to start with is make sure that all these hosts are different hosting companies altogether, because they do have different blocks of numbers that they use. And if obviously if you set up all of your hosts with a different account in different names, but all with HostGator, that could be a footprint. So my advice would be just get them all set up separately. You can get fairly good cheap hosting options, sort of like between $3 to $7 a month for go back, we just went forward on that, for for a multiple shared hosting. So it's not going to be that expensive to set these up. And even if you have to go up, even if you're just doing one money site, make sure you use a different hosting. Do not cross host for one money site. So do not put 2 PBNs on one host for one money site. That is a massive footprint, and Google can spot that really easily. So just for best practice, host A, have your money sites. Host B, have all your PBNs. So if you've got A1 money site, you would have B1 PBN. Then you could have A2 money site on this host, and you could have B2 PBN pointing to it, but just don't cross link them. And so on and so forth. So host C, you would then put PBN2 for host A. So that would be host A1 money site, host B1 PBN, host C1 PBN2, host D1 PBN3, host E1 PBN4, host F1 PBN5. And then you could have, say, for instance, 5 money sites, 5 PBNs, all set up like this. So you'd only need 5 hosting companies for all, for 5 money sites and 5 PBNs on each, as long as they are set up correctly. And my advice would be to get yourself a spreadsheet, so that your organisation is so important with this, because it's really, really easy to get lost. And you can set up a little spreadsheet that just kind of lists out all your money sites. So you've just got a list down here of all your money sites, all your hosts along the top. So for instance, you've got HostGator, Bluehost, GoDaddy, etc. of all your hosts, all down here on each one. You've got your money sites one, and then you've got all your PBNs, all your PBNs, all your PBNs, all PBNs, and you can see in a line that you're not crossing on any of them. And yeah, I mean, obviously you can actually use these PBNs. You can actually use each of these PBNs to rank more than one site. But what we're finding at the moment is that one PBN per money site is absolutely gold, especially if you've purchased the PBN the way I've trained you. You can use it a bit later on to rank other sites if you want to. My advice is it's not that expensive to purchase a PBN. You know, it might be 10, 20, you know, you might spend a little bit more, sort of up to $100 per PBN. But again, it's going to, you know, as long as it's a strong PBN, you know, you're going to get a lot from that, and you should make your money back in no time, especially, you know, if you do it the way I show you. Okay, so let's take a look at what to look at with who is, and oh, well, that was from an old one. So let's just take a look at what who is actually shows Google, and this is the information that Google will pull to, you know, its algorithm will be able to look at all this information and immediately spot if there's something fishy going on, and you will get penalised. So if I just quickly show you who is, so I just put in this website here. Okay, so this is ideasinpartnership.co.uk. Okay, so the registrar is Crystal Hosting Limited. Okay, registration date tells you there. So again, don't buy all your PBNs on the same date, because that's going to look fishy. You're going to see that they're all going to be registered on the same day. Google will spot that. This is the information. Now, if you've put your information, I mean, obviously on your money site, this is all, you either want this to be your information or your client's information, because you know, you will want, you know, you can still hide it on a money site, that's no problem, but it's no problem to actually allow to show all this on your money site. But on your PBNs, you want all this to be completely different in each PBN. Okay. Again, so it'll show you the domain name, the registrant, the registrant's address, all this sort of stuff will be hidden. Now, obviously, this will then say the name of the actual registrar that you buy through if you use the privacy. So, and that's quite common. You know, Google doesn't see that as a massive footprint on all of your sites. There's another little trick I can show you using Cloudflare, which means that if you do use more than one PBN on a host, or you have to, you know, or you know, you kind of get, sometimes you get a bit disorganized and this happens, then you can use Cloudflare, which will actually change your address, IP address of that host, so it will actually won't look like a, because obviously people like GoDaddy and that have masses and masses and masses of domains, so they do have different IP addresses that they use on their hosts. So obviously it will look a lot more natural if you use Cloudflare, and yeah, and there's some other benefits of using Cloudflare. So I'm going to do a video on that after I've actually gone through how to set up your PBN on the next video. So yeah, so there's a little bit more information you can see. So these are and this is actually your IPs and your name servers. So obviously the name servers, if you use Cloudflare, that will actually change. But again, it's quite common to see this quite a lot with different hosts. You could have you could have 2 or 3 websites using GoDaddy to actually point to your money site. That's actually natural because GoDaddy is such a big company. However, obviously, if these looks like, you know, GoDaddy do not use the same name servers, I can tell you that now. They don't even use the same name servers on the same account. So if they were all the same, then that would look a little bit fishy. So yeah, so just kind of really good, you know, hopefully some good information there that some useful information, should I say, there that you can use. So when you're going about setting up your PBNs, you know, you're trying not, the idea is to try not to leave us too many footprints. It doesn't matter if you're just doing a few sites, and quite often, you know, some of these, you know, what's quite natural to Google is sometimes, you know, you will have a website and you'll have another website and you'll have a website and you'll be linking to those websites. Those technically are using each other as a PBN. I mean, most companies wouldn't even know they're doing that, and Google will allow that. But when you start getting into quite a lot of websites, a lot of PBNs to rank a website, and you're kind of dominating in a niche, or you're kind of getting lots and lots of traffic, it's going to be very easy to spot certain patterns, and it's best to sort of get the best practices underway as you start. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much everything. You know, everything from a basic level of footprints, all you need to know. So it's quite a short video today. just for 15 minutes on Footprints, and then what we'll do is I'll go over how you use Cloudflare in one of the later videos in this module. But in the next module, I'm going to be talking about how you actually set your PBN up correctly. And it doesn't take that long, actually. I mean, it might do the first few times you do it, but it won't take that long. So I'll see you in the next video.
Just to add on from that, don't forget to join us on Facebook, where you can get all the free course tools, the PDFs and the downloads. Also, you get free support for the course, and any questions that you have on SEO, anything to do with the course, or anything else you can think of to do with SEO, just come on into that group, and either myself or someone in the group will be able to help you. Simply go to facebook.com/groups/passive income ladder. And we'll see you on in there. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel so you can get all the training fresh off the press as it's released. I'm putting up videos all the time, so obviously you want to make sure you get all the cutting edge information about SEO. Most of the stuff is really up to date, so it's a good idea for you to subscribe to the channel, get it all as it comes out. And obviously, if you're subscribed to the channel, you will get free access to the full free course. Don't forget to check the show notes down below as well to see if there's anything else in there that's of any use to you to add on to this video.